These were in that dumpster. I came back for this one. It was actually 2.
Hello and welcome again. Today we have a special guest, Hi-Fi.
Hello.
And he is the one that found this TV in the dumpster. And was it next to the hotel or near your hotel?
It was next to the Wyndham Grand. The building next to it was having some construction work done on it, I believe anyway. And there was a big blue dumpster outside of it. Now, I hadn't noticed it because, you know, the dumpster's about as tall as I am, so I didn't see it. But as soon as I got on the bus to go to Anthrocon, because that's what was going on at the time, I was tall enough to where I just saw the knob and some of the TV, and I was like, oh, I know what that is. That's an old TV. And I thought it was a Panasonic too, and I was right. It was a Panasonic. And then, of course, I went back, and I just so happened to look on the opposite side, and I saw the Technica. So, and of course that is Spats TV now. And this one's mine. I'm not sure how I'm going to get it home because I flew, but maybe I'll get it when we come up with Emerson next year. So
yeah, either way, I'll hold it for you if you can't take it. So right now we're gonna assess this TV in between dude meows here.
He's just putting in his input.
Yeah. So this TV is as found, and we'll show it does have some odd quirks, like where did it come from and what happened to it, aside from being in a dumpster. It is very filthy, but it's like it's blackened up here, like
I was thinking like soot from a fire almost, but it could be cigarette smoke, but it doesn't look like it. And Harley smelled it; it doesn't smell.
And it's pretty cloudy in behind the UHF dial.
It unfortunately is missing the UHF knob, but
Axel Foxy may have.
Axel Fox may have one, but I think the knob has gone missing recently because I feel like there's some fresh grease in there that would have been a lot more filthy had it been gone. But I didn't think I was gonna spend a bunch of time digging through a dumpster to find something that's as small as a knob. So it's probably all the way at the bottom at that rate, unfortunately.
Yeah. And do me a favor, flip the TV around for us.
Yes. Do you want to see the side first or all the way around?
All the way around, because that'll give us a good idea of what's going on. Whoops, it's a little top front heavy, I should say. This is where it gets odd. Pay attention to the side cabinet. It's like bowed like this. And then pay attention right here. This is melted inward. This melted so much that this aluminum plate right here is bent. But the thing that's even weirder is this plate here and this sticker look brand new. The TV itself looks almost brand new. It's like still shiny and clean. But then you have the antenna, white twin lead, it's like blackened. But this sticker's fine. What the hell?
So we're not entirely sure if it was just the fact from it sitting in the hot sun, because I did honestly almost burn myself on the dumpster. It was so dang hot whenever I pulled it out. But again, the Technica didn't have any heat damage, really, did it?
No.
And there are definitely black parts to it. However, I guess it could be a different composition of the plastic, which is entirely possible. But this side is also bowed a little bit, not quite as much. So to put it in perspective, the TV was kind of top heavy again.
Yeah.
The TV was kind of like sitting like this.
Yeah.
So this part was in the sun. But I don't know. It's just like this blackened area. I mean, we really don't know how long it had been there. The dumpster had, to my knowledge, had been there since, I mean, the day I showed up at Anthrocon. So I'm not sure exactly what the deal is with that, or if it was maybe possibly in a fire and had some smoke. Harley suggested it could have been close to a window, but I don't think that would explain the slight warping on this side. So I'm not entirely sure what the deal is. I guess when we open it up, if we see a bunch of black soot in there, then it would confirm being in a fire. But who knows? Honestly, at this rate.
Yeah. So let's assess how it's behaving right now. All right, so here we go. We're going to power it on. Obviously, dirty controls.
Actually, not too bad.
It's flickering brightness, and I think it's because of dirty pots up front doing that. See? There, it stopped. Seems to have very limited range. The picture is nice and bright, but a little bit of vertical shrinkage there and some linearity issues, like a little squash there, up there, and the focus could use a touch-up. So that's the only thing I'm seeing right now is that this has very dirty controls, but also I think grayscale might need tweaked. Hang on. We definitely have to do grayscale. Oops, I'm bumping the cable, a little bad connection.
Yeah, it's almost got a greenish tinge.
Yeah, it has a very greenish tinge, so we have to do grayscale on it. We'll also assess the condition of the tube. Yeah, it's like almost completely green. Let's see if we get any form of color whatsoever. Very green. That's.
Oh, there we go. There's a little bit.
Yeah, it's actually bleeding. So we'll see what the condition of the tube is with the Sencor.
It's decently bright though.
Yeah, it just might have a lot of hours on it, that's all.
That's true.
And let's see. Oh, and also notice how we went off screen and the horizontal is not locked. So we'll have to tweak that to get it within range. That's how you know how, if you have it. When you go on here, the reason why it locks in is because the horizontal automatic frequency control pulls it in, but it should not be out of sync when you go off channel.
Oh, I think there's a pot on the back for that.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and tweak that. All right, so it actually is pretty nice and bright. How does it track? Yeah, just the background is very green, so we'll fix that. Otherwise, it's behaving pretty well, and that's just me bumping the cable. All right, let's take this thing apart. All right, you didn't really miss anything, but we just pulled this circuit board forward just enough to spray some contact cleaner in all the controls up front and move them back and forth. So that's all. Pulled this back a little bit and did that, and sprayed it in the tuner. And while we wait for that to dry completely, we'll test the CRT. Okay, Hi-Fi just looked up and found the Sam's photo fact for it, dated 10/1980, and the speaker has a 1979 date code, so we'll just call this a 1979 TV. What do you think?
I guess so, yeah. I know you had said you thought it was maybe from like the mid-'80s, but...
Yeah, because it has a square picture tube.
Right.
That is so odd. Now, while in this video, we will try to get this TV up and running, but observe the cap in the middle of your screen and observe the leg. It's kind of corroded, and look how that liquid on the circuit board there. Yeah, so unfortunately, this has a lot of those purple Matsushita caps, and eventually they're all going to have to be changed. But for now, we'll try to get this TV going the best we can. Okay, we're on 6.3 volt heater, which is lighting up quite well. Okay. All right, no G1 shorts. No heater to cathode shorts. All right, let's see if we can get it in the cutoff. Yep. Okay, green. Now I'll do red. All right, the cutoff's moving around a bit, but we got where it needs to be. We'll test 100%. So, we will police perform grayscale on this, but I'm also wondering if some of these problems we're experiencing are cap-related issues. Well, we'll find out. But anyways, we'll at least tweak this to get an acceptable picture for now. So after cleaning everything, it is working much better. First, let's take care of this horizontal hold issue. We tune it off channel, and see how it's like that now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, try to get it as close to... Alright, so that's as close as we can get without a sync. But that means it's right where it needs to be. So now that should lock right in. Alright, let's tweak this. Actually, we'll put it on that. So... it is up a little high, but there might be an adjustment for that elsewhere that's not labeled in the set. But for now, because again, if we eventually do recap it or whatever, we'll probably have to readjust all these again. Mm-hmm. At least now it'll fill the screen. Another thing we could do, let's take a look at the flyback here. Focus. Okay, that's right where it needs to be. Okay, now, let me see. If I turn it down, yeah, see, it's still very green. Let me put it on just a raster. Tell me when.
We're good.
All right, turning up the red now. Can I see? Oh, never mind. I'm just trying to see where the hole is. Back here. All right, that was green. I'll touch green. Now I gotta go over one more for blue. Right about there for neutral.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got the grayscale right where it needs to be now, and I see the color looks really good. The we'll go here. I can turn the contrast all the way down, but we can actually have brightness now, especially on the background. It wasn't even lighting up before, and it's a nice neutral gray. And you can turn it up here all the way. Still looks good. It's probably blinking the camera. I don't know.
A little bit,
but looks a lot better than it did when we started. Mm-hmm. And I think this TV is good to go for now.
Alrighty. So as we were putting it back together, we found the date stamped in here. It would be the the 9th month of 1979. So, yeah, definitely a bit older than we had expected. Or, well, Spats had expected. I really didn't know exactly when it was from.
And for the final part of the video, we'll test it playing some Super Mario Bros. 3 on my original NES hardware. So go ahead to level 1.
Told you I'm not good at Mario.
But how often, how much have you ever played of it though?
Most Mario I've played has been on the Wii, so
Oh.
a little bit newer than this.
Okay, this takes a little get used to.
One of the last good Nintendo consoles.
Yes. Though I'm a little rusty myself. You know, just like right there, I was supposed to get those coins. There we go. Oh no. I'm gonna go back up there. Up. Walmart. There's lots of images of the letter 3 in this game. And I get a Starman. Now it's your turn. Nope, you went into battle mode.
What?
Yeah, you're supposed to go to the next level.
I thought I went to the next level.
No, you went to the same level I just went in.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime you see the little oval M or L, that's where I'm currently at. So you go to level 2. And you hold B to run. And you, on a slope, you hold the down arrow to
slide.
yeah. So this is your first time playing this?
Mario 3, yes.
Yeah.
At least I'm pretty sure. I've played an NES before. Well, I'd like to say thank you to Spats Bear for helping me out. I think this TV, well, you said that this TV is going to need to be recapped, and we can see that by the one leaking capacitor in there, and then the bulge one in the power supply.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So-
working now, but it might get progressively worse as we keep using it. But hey, you know, it has potential.
Well, yeah, and especially since it was free.
It's free, yeah.
Not
And-
sure how I'm going to get it home, or if I'm going to have to wait till next year whenever Emerson drives up, which
But-
may be it, but...
I'll definitely hold on to it. And that's
And hopefully Axel has that knob. I sent him a message and he says he thinks he has it. So we'll see what he finds tomorrow when he digs for it. But
all right. Well, everyone, that'll be all for this video. So thanks for watching.